You're watching the Batter Fans Network.
The heroes are back. Being fucking balls, rapping pink and black. Coming live from the 305, it's official tissue. The Batter Fan, Chris and Dan, weekly rocking with you. We talk Messi, Boosie, Jordi, Lucho, the Fat Four, to Ben Cram, Noah, Ruiz, Fray. What more could you ask for? Tighten up and get ready, listen in on the pod. Solana and X in Espanol, just to even the odds. Breakdowns and gas bagging, join the tribe and just buy free 99. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't hesitate, say what's up, go ahead and come in. No question about it, I'm ready to get hurt again.
No question about it, I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 367 of the Batter Herons podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Ganana, and alongside me, I got Mr. KBD, I got Scotty Tuhari, and I also got Ex La Voz. We are doing mid-season report cards, but let's see how everybody's doing. Let's start with the usual KBD. How are you doing, sir?
I'm ready to give out some grades. There's going to be a lot of grades being handed out strictly.
I'm a harsh grader because I am an educator,
Yes.
so I am a harsh grader. Scotty, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining us from the Drive Pink Dialogue.
I am happy, as always, to talk Inter Miami, but I enjoy going on with you guys because I think your chat is the most fun to watch along with while we talk Inter Miami. So I'm very excited about this, and I hope everyone in the chat is ready for it.
And I hope that the chat's going to be involved in helping us give some grades out today. And as always, Xavier La Voz from Las Garzas. He does Spanish with us every Monday night at 10 o'clock. What's going on?
Good. I heard the little song, in Espanol, even the odds, but we speak English too. We speak English.
Yeah.
So we'll do some English today.
Yeah, we're going to do some English today. So we did this last year. We had our boy Calypso on here, and he had everybody up in arms because he only gave 2 A's last year. He gave an A to Messi and an A to Cello. That was it. Those were the A's given. So Calypso
He's
had
either a
everybody
genius
up in
or
arms.
he's nuts, one or the other.
Yeah, so that was our mid-season report card episode last year. So we'll see how things go this year. And again, hope that the chat joins in. And one last thing I wanted to say before we get into it. June 5th, I love numbers. I love anniversaries. Today marks the 2-year anniversary of our boy Morgan coming on with us. And he broke the news 2 days before everybody else found out that Messi would be joining Inter Miami on June 5th on this show. So we got to hear about it at first. We told everybody to run out, buy their Leagues Cup tickets. And some people listened, some people didn't. And then 2 days later, the rest of the world found out. So June 5th, that's when we found out Messi was coming. So big day for Inter Miami.
This is also the 35th anniversary of New Kids on the Block step-by-step release, but you know,
Amazing
figured
fact.
I'd throw that out there.
It's a
Yeah.
fun fact.
I don't think I recognize that song.
Oh no, we need to move on immediately.
All right, so no more pleasantries. Let's get straight into it. So first grade. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna ask you. Want me to bring up the first?
Okay, yeah, you can run through them. Yeah, you bring them on.
Okay, so we'll bring on the first candidate here, guys, and I think it's we shouldn't even have to introduce it. It's the GOAT, Messi. He is the first candidate. Straight to him.
Now,
go ahead, Danny.
He just won Player of the Month, which is wild to me because he had one hell of a week. I don't know if he's Player of the Month, but he won Player of the Month. And up until last week, a lot of people were saying that he had a dip in performance. I'm kind of curious if everybody gives him the same grade. So how do you want to start this, Chris? Do you want to start off? You want to let Scotty or Xavier start off?
Well, let's go ahead and let's get Xavier into this. Xavier, what do you think? What do you think should be the grade for Lionel Messi?
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys because we have the educator up there, the principal, so he's going to be rough and he's really detailed. I have different expectations. Maybe it shouldn't be that way. You tell me for different people. So for someone like Lionel Messi, I'm going to grade him a lot harsher than I would, let's say, David Ruiz. Or someone to that effect. The Barca boys are going to get harsher grades. But all that being said, having the GOAT, can you put the GOAT sound, please? Thank you. Having the GOAT on your team at 37, about to be 38, still playing at an amazing level, leading the team to that butt whooping of Columbus Crew. the crew, one of the fan bases that like absolutely hates Inter Miami, Cincinnati, all those guys from up there. He led them to that big butt whooping, 2 goals, 3 assists. The goal, I'm not giving him the A+ right now. I'll give him the A+ at the end of the season if he gives me the MLS Cup, but he's gonna get an A. The GOAT gets an A.
Xavier gives the GOAT an A. All right, Scotty Tuhati.
You know, I don't think he has spent the entire season playing as well as he did in Leagues Cup 2023, but I think there have been points where he has, no doubt about it, and the last week has certainly been a case. But more importantly, more impressively, I think what he's done as a captain over the last week and a half has made this an A+ for me. I know it may have felt odd to give a post-game interview and to do the rah-rah conversation, and everyone started talking about personal accountability. That all came from Messi. It could have been nothing. It wasn't nothing. It may have turned around the whole season, and it was his play, but also his lifting everyone else up. So to me, not just as a player, but as a captain, A+.
Amanda, B+. KBD.
I'll give my while you go ahead and give the link for the Discord. So unfortunately, Scotty Tuhati and Xavier didn't know that we had a special grade for Lionel Messi, which is exactly what you just said. It's a GOAT.
It doesn't deserve a letter. He's just the GOAT. That's. I'm with you, Chris.
He symbolizes all that is great with the game.
Yes, so technically he gets an A+ from me. Look, it's like what Danny said. He was player of the month. He's had an exciting week, maybe a week and change. Obviously a lot of people were not too happy with the dip in performance, but I think that unfortunately he has a higher ceiling, a higher expectation, like you said, Xavier. So I think it's a gift and a curse to be at his level, but at the same time, it's a tall bill, to ask out of him. Right,
he's the gift. He's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
Even at 37 and almost.
And Danny, what do you think?
I think you.
Oh no!
His microphone gets an F. That's what that does. His microphone gets an F. Absolutely. That's what Danny's.
The budget. There's budget. There's been budget cuts on the hands.
That's what happens when we had to get the GOAT on here. The sound, it costs his microphone.
Well, I want to hear the educator. I want to hear what the educator has to say.
Well, I thought a lot of people were criticizing the way he played. I thought that he was the only one that was even attempting to create during that hard run of games that they had. I felt like he had 3 or 4 guys on him, and at times when he couldn't find anybody else making any runs, he would try to take those 3 or 4 guys on himself. I thought that he played as well as he could, given the circumstance, given the compact defenses that he was playing against, and the hard-headedness of Mascherano not changing the playing style up until a couple weeks ago. And with all that said, I thought that he just showed that he was just that guy. So, I give him the GOAT also. I couldn't think of a grade because I felt like A+ wasn't good enough. So I give him the GOAT. I still think that he's playing at that level.
Wow, I'm the harshest critic right now. Unbelievable. Okay.
Yes, you are. Absolutely. So, Danny, do we move on?
Yes, sir.
You can't move on until you put that where it says Danny got that Timu mic.
He does have the Timu. Hold on. Where is that? Is somebody commented that?
Giovanni Diaz right there.
Yeah, right here. And Soccer Daddy saying Home Depot mic.
I didn't know Home Depot had, but there we go.
And then Pace Hunter says, "Go grade, let's go, Messi A."
That's fantastic. And yeah, it was a beautiful looking goal too. Look at that, handsome goal.
It is very handsome goal. All right, so let's keep it moving, guys. We're gonna go to the second player, which typically plays aside to Lionel Messi, and that is none other than Luis Suarez.
Okay.
Anyone want to go first on this one?
I got it. I got it.
No, you know what? I'll go first, Xavier, because you went first last time.
Got you.
So the thing about Luis Suarez, before this awesome week of Messi, right? I feel like Luis Suarez, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I look back at the stats, he has the most goal contributions on this team, right? Aside from, before, well, not now. Before, at this moment, Messi has it, right?
Correct.
But before Messi went on these last couple, went berserk on the tear, right? Luis Suarez was with the most goal contribution, in the team. So I'm gonna go against the grain here, and Danny, I'm gonna go with an A, solid A for Luis Suarez.
You should be an educator because all the kids in America, even the ones that don't know how to read, will be passing.
I'm gonna go. Hey, I can't go with an A here, Danny. I mean,
you can do whatever you want, man. This is your world. It's your world. We just live in it.
If you're an easy grader, that's on you. Wow, I don't even know how to follow that up. I guess
easy grader.
If you want, I'll follow that up. I'm gonna give him a C-.
Ooh,
C-. I thought that he has performed decent. I thought that he has made some runs, but the number of opportunities that he has blown has been surprising to me. I think it showed an obvious dip in performance. Yeah, he's he's finally got the back of the net over the last 2 games, but they weren't necessarily goals that you would say are out of this world, right? That one that he got against Columbus, Segovia kind of gave it off to him. He went near post. Like I'm disappointed with the performance just because he played so well last year that even if there's a dip in performance, I didn't think it would be this drastic. I had to go back and check to see if he really had that many goal contributions because Chris said he did. And
5 goals and 7 assists, right?
But there's so many low points in between the few goal contributions that he has because he'll get two goals and 1 assist in 1 game, and then he'll go like 3 games, 4 games without doing anything. So it hasn't been consistent. I'm going to go C-. Scotty Tuhati.
Yeah, this is a tough one because he did get off to a great start to the season, and I think that was responsible for a lot of the numbers he had, and then of course it fell off pretty harshly. I'm going to give him a B because I think this has more to do with the system and the situation that he's been put into. I don't think he's been given a ton of help by what Inter Miami's tried to do. I don't think it suits him particularly well. So disappointing. I agree with everything both of you said, and I'm just going to combine them and give him sort of halfway in between.
We go.
That's fantastic.
Okay, Xavier, dale fuego.
Yeah, this one I'm not going to be the lowest because the lowest is going to be my guy C- up there. I'm going to give him a C because of the expectations, but he's been average, right? He's been average for someone like him. I expect much more. But his statistics are not bad, correct? They're not bad. But if you look at goal scores, which is what the 9's supposed to do, I wish it was 7 goals and
the other way around. Yes,
but still, it's goal contributions, and like Danny said, when the goal's not there, he does his thing. So I'll give him a C, but I expect him to be better. And I looked at the stats for the standings for the leading goal scorers. He's like number 40th or something. Like I didn't get to count, but like you got to go at the list and go down until you find Luis Suarez, and that is unacceptable. But I'll give him a pass so far. So I see he's passing.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna say like he also does a lot off the ball. Like there's so much space that he creates for other players.
He's one of the elite players of our generation.
He's very lazy.
I know. Well, he's not lazy. He's old.
No, he's not lazy.
He's old and he's got no knees.
No, that's one thing. With his broken knees, he hustles.
For effort. If you're telling me effort, I'll give him an A for sure.
Well, he's just not going to make the run.
He's made a couple. I think he's been average for him. Remember, I'm grading him hard.
For him.
I think he's been average, and I hope he looks like he's getting back in form. And because his stats are not bad, they're not bad, but they're not good enough for him.
The thing is, 4 of those goal contributions came in the last 2 games, and then
Rocco's not even on the list, man.
And then he had 2 against the Red Bulls. So that in 3 games, he had 6 goal contributions. That's half of them in 3 games, and we're like almost 17 games into the season.
Right.
There's also certainly like an idea that the offense fell apart and he wasn't able to carry it, and I think that definitely has to be a part of this because his form dropped off just as the offense did. So maybe B was generous, but I'll stick with it.
No. You stick with what you got.
All right, so I'm going to give you one that I'm sure is going to be quick to run through because I'm sure a lot of people are going to say NA, but 17 minutes of magic, Baltasar Rodriguez. So if you're judging him based off of those 17 minutes,
17 minutes of magic is this like when you're in the closet when you play the spin the bottle? What is it? No, man. You didn't get that. Look at him. He doesn't even know. He's like, nah, that's not even his picture. That's not. No, an F. Tampoco an F. If he gets an F,
the most important ability is availability.
Availability. You got it, man.
Yeah, but he also has an assist every 18 minutes, so that's that counts for something.
Those are gold stats. Those are gold stats. Look at that.
Those are gold stats right there.
He just hopped in, boom, hopped back out. Literally, he hopped off the plane. He got hurt.
We can't do this potential stuff, Justin. Because if we do potential, then everybody's gonna get an A.
No, and Balthazar was just a joke. I mean, he only played 17 minutes. You can't judge.
He better not be a joke for this little run of Club World Cup. He better be available.
Well, I gave him a D-. That's what I gave him.
I mean, based off of what ability, availability.
Educator, is a D passing nowadays?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so because my daughter kept telling me, "Oh, a D pass is classes a class," and I was like, "Back in my day, that D didn't pass." But okay, now
you can't get straight Ds. You can get 2 Cs and 2 Ds and pass, but you can't get straight Ds.
So you can pass with a D. Oh.
If you also contribute,
terrible, right? But if it's all D's, you cannot pass.
No. Gotcha. All right, moving on. Tadeo Allende. This one I'm interested in. Scotty, I think you go ahead. What do you think about Tadeo Allende?
I'm sort of in the A- B+ territory. I know he's missed some shots, but what he does for this offense, especially the verticality, opening up that space in front of the defense for Messi and Suarez to operate. We've seen it very well over the last week, but even before that, I thought he was the first guy to get going when we were really struggling offensively. So I really like him. I give him an A-, I think.
A-. All right. And Jack Hart said he's got a B+. Xavier, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that Scotty and Chris think alike, and they're very generous. I'm messing with his comments. I'm gonna give him a B, and I think I'm being generous. And once again, because expectations. I expect a guy that's went to Europe, who has experience in Spain. Not a lot, but the skill and the ability you expect, it's there. I think he came in on fire and then dropped. He's starting to get form again. So this is my mid B. I'm hoping for him at the end of the year to do better, to have a higher grade, because he has all the potential to be a dominant player in this league. So I see him as a designated player type ability. They're not paying him that, but I see him with that type of ability. So I'm grading him on that. So I'll give him a B for now.
I'm gonna ride with you right there. I'm gonna go with Allende with a solid B as well. I mean, the expectation, I don't want to say I didn't have these high expectations.
Not when he got here, we didn't know him, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, he's
all
opened up.
That he hadn't scored and he hadn't played in any of those games that they played, except for one Copa del Rey game.
Well, but then we saw his big, fast, big guy, fast, pretty technical. It's like, okay, we got something here.
So with me, I mean, I saw him open the game up in ways that no other player on this team was opening it up, right? I mean, we have Messi, who's very creative on the ball, but nobody was making these line-breaking plays. So for me, Allende is able to stretch the field in a way that, quite honestly, nobody was able to do this season. So a B for me is for Allende for sure. What about you, Scotty?
Scotty gave him an A-.
We're attacking him, so Scotty's thinking twice about it.
No. I would rather give him an A than a B, honestly. I think he's
I'm gonna go
very
B-. I'm gonna go B-.
You jumped on Scotty. You jumped Scotty, bro.
Scotty did it in the beginning. I was jumping to Danny by mistake.
I have attention deficit then.
I'm gonna go B-. I thought he started off hot, obviously, right? He started off hot Champions Cup, but I felt like he wasn't consistent. I felt like he fell off a bit. He blew some chances that he's had. And I think up until this Columbus game where he was, right, the way we're playing the counter, he was that vertical threat. But if we're not playing like that, I just haven't seen him contributing as consistently as I would have liked.
Can I ask you guys a quick question? Can he be a good player without scoring goals?
Of course.
Can he get a good grade without the goals?
I haven't seen. Have you seen him do anything outside of stretching the field?
But he needs to, right? Where he's at on the field, he needs to.
Does that, right?
He goes up and down when he's on the wing, He defends. He attacks well. But where he's at, you expect him to score goals. So he needs to score goals. If he
with
doesn't,
with the type of team that we have and the game in the style of play that we have, I just don't see him contributing as much. Now, if we keep playing the way we played against Columbus, which I don't think we will, but if we keep playing that way, all of a sudden his game is forget about it. It's as important as anybody else on the team.
He's been used as a midfielder, right? Originally, he was like in a 4-3-3,
yeah.
and that's where I picture him. But then I just realized he's been playing midfield, so he's been very versatile. But I'm still sticking with my B because of the high expectations I have from him. So far, you've expectation people, and I want to see at the end. I want to see what he does at the end.
Well, I'm curious about this next one because this next one, everybody had high hopes for it. Well, maybe not. I had really high hopes for it. Telasco Segovia. Telasco Segovia. I think a lot of people. I'll start just because of my high expectations. The way he was described to me was Diego Gomez light, more on the attack, less on the defense. I think it has a lot to do with the position that he's been put in also, because when he has been put in his natural position, played a little more central, he has showed a lot more potential. But I have to go based off of what I've seen. And what I've seen is that they want to play him wide, and he can't seem to do that very well. So I'm going to go C- for Telasco up until now because they don't play him at his position. I mean, I'm sure that he would perform a lot better at his position, but that's not where he's playing, and where he's been playing, I just think he deserves a C-.
You're going close to he a little more, and he goes to a D. Yeah, you are a tough. What score are you at? So I don't send my kids over.
I don't grade anymore. I'm out of the classroom.
I'll tell you. I'm gonna stick with a Segovia. Get it? Segovia.
Wow, that is fantastic.
Yes. So look, it's like you said. If he's not put in the right position in the midfield, then he's a ghost.
And the fact like Danny just goes.
Like Danny, he just disappeared right now, and he's probably working on grading somebody else terribly.
His mic, his
everything,
his dial-up internet. His grading is terrible. What is going on with that guy?
So, I mean, like I said, midfield, unfortunately, if he's not there, he's a ghost. He is very creative on the ball, but when he's put out on the side, it's like if we're missing something, right? We're replacing somebody like Fafa who can be effective on that side and putting Segovia who's ineffective. So I'm gonna stick with the C.
I think that's a solid grade.
What do you think, Scotty?
I agree with everything you guys said. I think the world of him as a talent. I don't think he's been used right particularly often. I think maybe we're starting to get there, hopefully. But I also know he got us points against Philadelphia and against NYCFC. So same idea as you guys, but I'll bump him up to C+ because he got us 2 results with late winners or late equalizers, rather.
Nice. Okay. All right. So you're giving a little bit of padding to Segovia than we have. What about you, Xavier?
I'm gonna be the nice guy here with Mr. Arepa Power, and I'm gonna give him a B-, B-. Why? Same thing. I believe he has very good potential, but he has not been used in the right positions until lately, where he's been very close with Messi, where you see the connection, where you see the understanding of guys that know how to touch the ball, how to hide the ball in small spaces, distribute. That's his thing. That's what he's supposed to do. But he's been used on the wing, and that's not his natural position. Why do I give him a B-? Because I know he's uncomfortable, but he's trying to get comfortable, and his uncomfortable out in the wing. He doesn't. He hasn't complained. He's been out there. He's been a soldier. He's been available. So I'm going to give him a B-. I was thinking like C+, but I said, you know what? This kid is completely out. Physically, he's not supposed to be out on the wing. Allende, to me, is more of a striker type guy, but he's able to go out on the wing with his speed and his ability, and he's able to play midfield, and he's got more like physical tools. This kid is his game is get the ball, let me distribute, let me touch around, let me get shots on goal, and feed you guys. But he hasn't always been used that way. So I'm going to give him a B- because I think he's done well. Well, he's got like 4 goals, right? And like two assists or something like that. B-. He's a young player. I'll go with that. We'll see.
I'm sure he can improve. It's just not from what I've seen. Fafa Picault. I feel like he's just been a super sub basically for us, and when he has come on, I think when he's been given a chance, I think he's done well. I'm gonna give him a solid B.
Nice.
Scotty?
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with incomplete on this one because
Okay.
he gave us the winner against Atlanta. And I do grade the big moments as sort of a plus. But
Yeah.
as you said, I think it's been
Extra credit.
super sub, not hugely impactful for much of it. I'm sort of on the fence still, so I'm going incomplete because I think there's something we haven't seen from Fafa yet.
Fafa, you got to take the class over again, Papi.
Let's see what you got if you get some more
he got
minutes,
an
you know what I mean?
incomplete.
Yeah,
He
for
got an
sure.
incomplete.
Xavier, Fafa.
Everything Scotty said in regards to, we haven't seen a lot of him.
No, we
and that's not up to him. Like in one of the games that I was able to talk to him, I asked about that. He said that he's willing, and he'll do whatever the coach says. If it's 10 minutes, he goes in. He's going to try to get the lead, tie, or whatever he needs to do, or if it's the whole game. And we've seen him in both. We've seen him as a starter, and we've seen him, and I think he's done pretty good. I think he's made a difference when he's in the game. So I'm going to give him a B- only because I think based on his experience, based on his ability, he should be able to get into that starting role more often. I know it's Mascherano's call. So,
Right, it's not his option.
but I wish that he, within practice and in the games, he's able to give him, enough to think about. But I think he's been a difference maker when he's in there. So I'll give him the B- now with the hopes of moving on.
Keep that grade there, Danny, because I'm giving him a B- as well. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like in the couple games that he comes off the bench, he's made like this impact where he makes these funky goals or like these plays that just matter. So like I have to
Put the
give
nail
him,
in the coffin for Columbus.
yeah. So I have to give him some credit for actually having like a statistical impact, not just off in terms of not being scored. So for him, I'm going to give him a B-. I wish we could use him a little bit more.
All right, now here goes Cremaschi.
That's the next
You
one.
know what?
This is going to be a difficult one.
Yeah. Cremaschi.
I want the
Let's
principal
go with
to go
Scott.
first.
Let's go with Scotty. Scotty's eager. He's an eager beaver right now.
He's thinking about it. I see him.
Did you guys see his performance when he finally played in the midfield against
Oh
Columbus?
my goodness.
It
I
was
thought he was
refreshing.
Fantastic.
So for a player that has played as a wing player, wide midfielder, whatever, out of position, I thought he's shown some sparks of growth. Meh in terms of the overall product, but he's also playing out of position. So I'm happy to give him like a B+ because I think if you start putting him in the midfield, he'll be great. And for what he's being asked to do, I think he's done an admirable job considering he's not a winger.
Look at Sean Callahan over there with a comment.
A lot of Justin, a lot of C's I see. All of these should be sliding scales because our coach doesn't use our players in the right positions. This is true.
Yes.
But he said that, right? Marsh said that also in one of the conferences. He's talking about that nowadays, the evolution of football, soccer, players have to be accustomed to be in multiple positions. And that's a philosophy that's not, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon right now.
Well, and we saw against Columbus, he used a little bit of that skill he's developed this year in terms of getting forward. He had a nice little head flick over the defender, run past him against Columbus. So parts of his game developed, and I want to give him a lot of credit for that, even if he wasn't the best winger we have on the team. I thought he did pretty good for what he is as a midfielder.
Yeah, if you read the article that I did for Lemon City Live after that game, I gave Ben lots of props. I gave him big time props. And why did I do that? Because he was the silent influencer in that game. He was a big difference maker during that game. Messi's second goal is totally Ben. That pressure on the goalie forces him to shoot with his left out right to Messi, and then he scores. He was all over the pitch. He was great defensively, and he was really good and very solid with the ball. And like Scotty said, when he's in his position, he pops out. You're like, oh, wait, this is interesting. Pops out. When he's played out of position on the wing, he's been all over the place. All he needs to play is goalie, I think, for this team. He still doesn't do a bad job, right? He still doesn't do a bad job.
He did play right back at some point.
And we realize he's been on this team for such a long time, but we don't realize how young he still is, right? He's on the under 20 team. He's at that age where he's about to blow up, and that's why he has a lot of interest from European clubs. I know the fan base here sometimes I get on him, which I don't understand why. But I'm going to give him Benja forward pressing is very impressive. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And like he's a pain in the ass for whoever's in front of him. And then when he has the ball, he's difficult too. He's technical. And I'm talking too long. So it's a B. It's a B for me because I want him to, at the end of the season, to have.
It'll be solid B.
No, solid going up to plus and pointing upward.
Okay. I'm going to give him a C plus, Danny.
Ooh,
I'm going to give him a C plus. You guys had good breakdowns on him. I mean, look, he kind of files under the same Segovia deal where he's being played out of position. You see more effort out of him in the wing, right? So like he tries and he gives it his best, but at the wing position, you could just tell that he's not comfortable there, or at least at the moment is just not working well with his teammates at that position. So that's why I gave him a C plus. What about you, Danny?
I'm gonna be right with you. I'm gonna go C plus also for Cremita.
Nice.
Obviously, right? We keep saying it, out of position, but I know it's nice to see him at his natural position, but I don't know if he plays as well if we're playing possession, because I don't think he's as technical to kind of connect passes with everybody ahead of him. I hope he can, and I hope that he has improved in that aspect. But that heavy first touch, I just don't know if he can do that. But I think in a game like we had on Saturday against Columbus, where he can just use his motor and press high and come back, defend box.
He was good with the ball too.
He's amazing.
Scotty.
No, I know, and Scotty brought it up. Yeah, I know. And if he can show that consistently, then I'll change it. But I haven't seen it consistently yet. And again, he hasn't had chances because when he has played, it's been out wide. So I'm just gonna go C plus.
What do you give him in his haircut, Chris?
No, his haircut's an A plus for sure. I mean, look at that. Look at the head of hair.
Fantastic.
No, you can see his forehead now. He cut his hair.
Yeah.
All right, good job, guys.
Next up, Danny. Where are we going? Who's the next person in line to get the grades?
Next, we got
Ooh,
Redondo.
This is gonna be tough.
Oh my God, he's gonna get destroyed in the chat right now.
Yo, in the chat for sure. If you want, I'll start. I'm gonna give him a D plus. He lost his job to Bright.
He's barely passing.
I really thought that he would play very well next to Busquets whenever given the chance. I thought that he would 100% be handed the starting job just because he's Argentine, and he would just fend Bright off, even though Bright would be playing similar. But Bright has completely outplayed him. And whenever he has gotten on the pitch, he has had some good games, some good moments. But more consistently than not, I feel like he just hasn't showed that he could be that guy that I thought he could be. I would have given him an F. But I am going to give him a D plus. So that's where I'm at with Redondo. I'm really disappointed with you. D for disappointed is what I'm giving him.
Excellent.
Xavier.
Oh, you throw that hot potato right at me off the bat. He came with big expectations, right? Came with big expectations, and it doesn't help
more than anything.
It doesn't. Well, no, not just that. He was said to be a prospect. You know, played on the Argentine national team, the U20. But like, so he came with some pedigree, and he started actually pretty good, I think, when he first got here, and then the season looks to have dropped for me. I don't know if he's a D, because you tell me a D's not passing, but I think he's been very, very average. So I'm gonna go C minus.
Okay, C minus. I like that. Scotty.
You know, we didn't talk about sort of the criteria for our grades. We're kind of just going about it as we do.
Spontaneous combustion.
Exactly. I think this is one of the players that your criteria for grading changes how you grade him, because I think he's been exactly who I thought he was going to be this year. We saw last year that he's not this, he's the second most expensive defensive midfielder in league history, but we saw that he's not that. And so if you push that away, your expectations kind of change, and I think he's met my personal expectations. Has he been better than Yannick Bright? Definitely not. Maybe he's not even the next in line in the midfield, but for what I've expected from him, I think he's been that. So I would say, B minus.
Oh, Scotty, but you can't have these personal expectations. This guy,
that's completely fair. That's completely fair. Because I gave him a D for disappointment because, unlike Scotty, my expectations were really high. I thought that he had a rough go last year, and I thought that he would come out and he would just shut everybody up. I came out here and said he's gonna shut everybody up this year, and I was dead wrong. He hasn't done anything but shut me up because I had to stop defending him at some point.
You have a terrible take. You too, Danny, because you were like, "Oh, Redondo's gonna be the greatest."
He's making him look bad, so that's a hurt D. That's a D. Like I'm hurt.
That's why he got the D plus.
Like I understand what you mean, Scotty. Like in terms of like putting all of that aside, but it's so hard to put that aside. This whole expectation coming from like a better team, and he worked with Mascherano. He's Argentine. His dad is a legend. He's expensive as hell. Cost us a bank.
Scotty, you don't have to justify anything, man. I understand.
No, I'm happy to because
I understand 100% what you're saying, dude. You saw what he was before all these guys here, and you're fine with that.
No, I do. I remember last summer we were talking about Yannick Bright versus Federico Redondo, and I was just saying this is not an $8.5 million man, but that's okay. Man. He is what
they gave the wrong man the $8 million, huh?
Yeah.
I give it a D plus, Danny. I'll finish it off. I mean, no, I'm sorry. D minus is what I gave him. A hard D minus. Almost got to an F plus, to be perfectly honest.
Wow. You guys are surprising me. You guys are surprising me.
This guy is a disaster.
I don't think he's a disaster. I think he's just an average player.
I think that, look, I'm exaggerating.
We realize he's an average player.
Look,
if you took away the name. If you took away the name, and this was the first time I ever watched him, and I didn't have expectations going into the season, I would have given him like a C. I
would have given him a Happy Meal for his contract is what I would have given him. Okay, he's decent with the ball when he's handling it, but like other than that,
I hope he's not watching the show. He speaks.
No, he does speak English. I feel bad because at Charlotte, I asked him to see if he can go get Robert Taylor to autograph my shirt, and he spoke English, and then I spoke Spanish.
You told him to.
I said, get out of my face.
Hey, can you bum?
Can you
get the GOAT, the second GOAT, the people's GOAT, Robert Taylor?
Yes.
I cannot believe
you really went to a player and you didn't ask for his autograph. You asked him to go get another player.
Chris,
First of all, he was like in normal play. He was like in normal clothes.
Oh my God.
Second of all, I had my Robert Taylor shirt on. And third of all, even if I did have like a team shirt, I wouldn't have got Redondo to sign that. Get out of here. Go get Taylor.
Wow. You are. I don't even know what to say about you. You're.
And he
now
went.
we know when was that? When
guy.
was that? He started playing terrible after Charlotte. So
that was
July 8th.
You're the reason for his slip in form. You mentally destroyed him.
Guys, can I just bring us back and say this? I feel is redemptive for me because I felt like the biggest Redondo hater last year, and here I am, his biggest defender. I love this.
Hey,
nice. It all comes full circle. We'll be back here a year from now talking about Luhan. And I'll be giving him
look what we got here.
Yannick Bright.
Okay.
I'll start.
I'm going
to give him an A.
Play the go sound.
Yeah. I'm going to give him an A. Might as well give him the go sound. I'm going to give him an A.
Do you have a dark goat? A dark goat?
Be careful because Pedri Potter might be in the chat.
Yeah, he does hate when we like people that aren't from Argentina. Bright A. I don't give him an A plus because he has been pushing forward a lot more, and although he has improved tremendously in that aspect, he still makes his errors. Right, he's still not great in that aspect of his game. But if he continues to improve in that aspect of his game, he's going to be a well-rounded 8, and he will be moving on to Europe very, very soon. But I'm going to give him an A just because he does everything else so well. So that's my grade for Bright, an A. Scotty.
To go, give me the GOAT grade because I love this player for the price we're paying for him, how we acquired him, all that stuff. This is the best value on our team.
Absolutely.
And he's an absolute superstar. I think he's the best defensive midfielder in the league. You said it. He's improved this year in terms of getting forward, his ability to push the ball both as a dribbler and a passer. He's a star, man. And when you're talking about $8.5 million midfielders, like this is what it's supposed to look like. And I'm just sad that we're not going to have him for the next 10 years, honestly.
Yeah, he definitely be fantastic here.
Let me tell you something. Hot take. I did not expect Scotty to come on here and give Bright a GOAT and not Messi. That's wild.
Xavier, give us the grade.
We didn't know. I'm going to give him an
I know.
I'm going to give him an A. I want him to I was actually going to go B++, but I'm going to give him an A because of everything that he brings. When he's on the pitch, the defense, the team, everything is completely different. He's a difference maker. Why not an A plus? Because of what Danny said. I need him to be a little bit better when he's going forward. I need him to be more decisive, more aggressive, get a couple of shots at goal, give me a couple better passes moving forward. And I think he has it in him, and I think he's going to continue to develop. So he's definitely an A. He's a $8 million, $9 million, $10 million player, man. That man's a stud, and that's a gem. He's a gem.
Yeah, he deserves Redondo's contract for sure.
And Danny, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bump him up, and I'm gonna give him an A plus because this guy makes a cheeseburger and French fries for his contract and plays way better than our $8 million Redondo, whatever that guy is.
Well, we're hitting that guy hard today. Yeah.
I mean,
But
look,
he deserves it. But he
listen,
deserves
Don't
it.
worry. I'm sure it's going to get worse with a couple of names that we have left.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, listen, he was served on a platter for him to do it was served on a platter for Redondo to do better. And he didn't take advantage of his opportunities. And this guy right here came in and said, I'm gonna steal your job right now, buddy.
Can I tell
You're
you?
never
Can
getting
I tell
this
you guys
back."
something? Can I tell you guys something? What I believe.
Breaking news?
That Redondo.
Breaking news?
No, not breaking news. It's news that if it ever happens, you heard it here first. I always thought Redondo should be a center back. I think at center back he would thrive because of his size and his ability. He's not terrible with his feet, and he's pretty decent. He's quick. Because let's say compare him to everybody's favorite Falcone. I think he would be a better defender.
Everybody's favorite except for Mascherano. Busquets. Xavier, you're great on Busquets.
Ooh, but Busi, I have to give him an A because of all the stuff that he does silently of the Barca boys of the four. Yeah, he gets the least amount of press in regards to everything that he does. But he does so much, right? He's that brain right there. And then when he has to fall back on defense, controls, put those passes forward, he'd get an A plus if he had 2 or 3 goals, right? But that never really was his thing, or has been his thing in his career. Yeah, standing ovation, absolutely. Guy's a maestro. He's a maestro. I enjoy watching him play. I love to play that position. Like whenever I play, and you look at this guy, I'm just like, oh, it's fantastic the way he moves and the things he does at the age, and he's lost steps. So yeah, an A.
Chris.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see what I put down. I put an A solid. I'm gonna keep it the same thing. He's a very creative person. He can see things before anybody else can. He sees when you're making that run, gets you the ball right in the perfect position. His defense is good, especially considering his age and how he has, I guess, quote unquote, lost a step. So I think he deserves an A. What about you, Scotty?
Yeah, A. He's the one player of the big four that has been consistent all season.
And played the most games and everything.
Played the most games. Has never had a bad – I don't think he's had a bad game, much less a bad stretch. And you can't say that about anyone else. So at least not the big four. So A for me. Consistency off the charts. He's awesome.
And
most minutes on this team.
To prevent sounding redundant with everything I just said, I'm going to go with A, and we'll just move on because I think that's the first one that we all agree on exactly.
Yeah.
Jordi Alba started off slow, started picking it up once we started finally using those wide areas because I think that he was hampered, but he shows what he can do once he's given the freedom. I'm going to go A minus. Scotty, I'm going A minus with Jordi. What are you going with Jordi?
I'm going to be the oddball. I'm giving him a C plus because
I
Javier
like it.
Javier Mascherano
We're getting tough.
told us that he can't tell Suarez what to do and he can't tell Busquets how to play, but he told Jordi Alba how to play, and he told him to stay back and play very conservative. And I thought it destroyed our offense. And so for not standing up and being like, no, I'm the best attacking wing back in the league's history. You get downgraded because you weren't as productive because you were allowing the coach to tell you to do something you shouldn't have been doing. So great player still, but yeah, he wasn't used.
I like that take because I would have never thought that. Okay, I like that. Yes, for not being that guy because he's not telling Suarez what to do. You can't even bench Suarez. Okay, Xavier.
I think he's been a B. I think he's been a B. I don't think he's been average. I think he's been all right. He definitely was better last season, but I think he's picking up He's picking up a little bit. Yeah, he's picking up. I don't. And there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. My little Jordi Alba. So a B. I expect him to do more, but I want him to be better defensively. So I'm not all out on Mascherano telling him to drop a little bit. I just want him to be able to, as an elite player that he is, as one of the icons of the game. Hey, relax. He needs to be able to know when to be up and when to be down, and that's where I think in a second, Papi. The problem is he stays up, and that's where we've been, weak on defense. If you saw the game where it was Noah and David Martinez, that line on the left side, that flank was shut down, right? So I'll give him a B, and hopefully he gets an A, getting some more assists and scoring a couple goals.
I
Chris?
put him down as A minus, but this comment says it right here, B, but trending to an A is what Amanda says. I mean, look, in the beginning, he fell off big time, but he's picked it up, and unfortunately, he just got an injury. I think at this point, I think it's fair to grade him an A minus.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people put between a B and an A, so I guess that would be a B plus or an A minus. So
Yeah.
all right, so here's an interesting one. Falcone. I guess I can start. I thought that he's played well whenever he's been out there, but Mascherano, I guess, doesn't agree. Playing the high line, he doesn't have the best pace, I suppose. But I feel like when he gets in position, he is a solid defender. He doesn't have the height to defend aerial duels. But I'm going to give him a B. I thought that he's been okay. He hasn't been necessarily the best, and he hasn't been able to get into the starting lineup consistently. But I'm going to give him a B. Scotty, what are you thinking?
I think he's a good, solid player. I don't necessarily think he fits into a team that has Messi and Suarez in it, and I think that sometimes affects his performance. I think he's been solid, so I'll give him B minus. But it makes me nervous that the front office thought that this profile of player and Luhan were the answers at center back. Because neither of them are tall or athletic, and it felt like we learned in the first year and a half of Messi that you need tall and athletic center backs. And
Scotty for GM. Scotty for GM.
Absolutely. Xavier, what are you thinking?
I'm right with him there. When you bring a center backs to Miami and they're like 5'8", 5'9", they can't not overly athletic, super fast, or can't jump because they're guys that are 5'8", 5'9", but they fly, and they can jump. It's a different story. It kind of evens out the odds. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a good player. I think he's a C+ player for me, given that he was brought in with the wrong profile. He's playing against, the high line is not for him. And so, he can't look good there, but he looked good in this last game where it's a low block, compact, and there's, people around him. And if he had the Billy Go, Bright in front of him, protecting, it's a completely different story. But
even in that last game, he got out-muscled and out-jumped with that header.
And we have him he's 27, and I believe they signed him for like 2-3 years or something like that. So he I don't know what they're gonna do with him.
Chris,
I'm gonna go with for Falcone a B minus. I'm gonna stick with Scotty. I'm gonna stick with a B minus because after watching him a little bit closely, like he's also kind of messed up. But in terms of like the back line, he has been the best pairing at this point with Noah Allen, other than maybe Toto Aviles. Falcone, I'll stick with the B minus.
All right, well, let's go to the GOAT himself.
Was I the lowest one on Falcone?
No, I think yours was.
That's what I'm saying. I was the lowest.
Yeah.
So Noah Allen, I'm just gonna jump out there. I'm gonna give him an A+. I thought that I was surprised that he ended up being. I thought he was gonna get pushed out of the starting position at center back, and he would just be the backup left back all year and get spot starts or sub minutes. I never thought that he would earn himself a starting position consistently in the starting 11 as center back. And not only has he earned that, but he's done it well to the point where he was in the team of the tournament, right, for the Champions Cup. He was the only Inter Miami player, I believe, in the best 11. I think he's played phenomenal in that position. And even the times that Jordi Alba has missed, he's started to push up, started to cross balls in. Yeah, man, I'm gonna give him an A+.
Do we have
I'm gonna stick.
goal?
I wish we can have I wish we can make it maybe a little faster. I don't know.
A little baby goat.
I'm gonna stick with the A+ too. I mean, we're talking about a position that is not, I guess, supposedly comfortable playing in, but as you can see, he has been pretty comfortable playing in it. To go from a player that we didn't think was going to see any minutes to literally dominating that position for this team, you can't deny that he deserves an A+. What about you, Xavier?
Why did you put that comment right before telling me? 'Cause now you put some pressure on me. No, I'm gonna go. Remember, I have I'm looking forward. Yeah, but looking forward. Well, he's exceeded expectations for many. Because I've seen him since he was like 11, 12. So I always thought he was going to be a really good player, but he's exceeded some of the expectations. I'm going to give him an A. Looking forward towards what he's going to do for the rest of the season. I think he's been fantastic. He has shown a lot of toughness, physical, mental, emotional toughness. And he's Tata's project. Tata said, hey, he's a center back that plays left back, because everybody said, hey, why are you playing a left back at center back? And those were his words. He said, no. Noah is a center back that plays left back, and Tata has been proven correct. He's been, to me, the most consistent and the best defensive player, period, on this team. Mm-hmm. I'm not giving him the plus. I'm not giving him the plus because I want to see something more in the future, but he's definitely an A. Where's the baby goat? There's not a baby goat there.
No, there's no baby goat. You just got to deal with this.
I don't want to talk about Noah Allen for 45 seconds because I want to talk about him for 45 minutes. So I will just say A+.
A+. All right. So A+. So A's all around. All right. So Noah Allen, I think has done a phenomenal job. And now let's move over here to Ian Fray. Ian Fray. If you want, I'll start.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one.
Okay, go ahead, Scotty.
Are you spying on me? That's the grade I was going to give him. You just popped up a B+. I mean, I'll start off. I'll start off. I'll just go ahead and put the B+, but I'll let Scotty lead into it. What's your grade?
No, I love this player, and I think it's sad we haven't seen him more, and I think we haven't seen his absolute best because we haven't seen him more. So I'm also going to give him a B+ because he hasn't had enough run to get that A+. But I thought he was phenomenal the first 6 weeks when Cello was out, and his game against Dallas was phenomenal. He should be the starting right back, and that's all I have to say. B+.
Chris went B+. I was going to go B+ also. Because I feel like
I'm the hater. I'm the hater.
Yeah,
I'm the hater.
I think the only knock that I'll give him is that although he is much better getting forward than Cello and Luhan and everybody else at right back, he does turn the ball over here and there, whatnot. But I do think that he contributes a lot more in the attack than the other right backs. And defensively, I think he's great also. I wish they would try him out at center back. Xavier.
I'm going to give him a C+. And why? Why a C+? Because I think, remember, it's based on expectations that I have of each player. I have very, very high expectations of Ian Fray. I don't know why he hasn't beat out Cello at right back. Obviously, MASH has a lot to do with that. Incorrect, Xavier. Well, no, let me state my point first before you tell me incorrect. I think I'm correct, to be honest with you. C+, he hasn't beat him out. I think that Inter Miami has been weak and is in dire need of strong center backs, tall, fast, athletic, good with the ball out of the back. I think he's all those things, and I don't know why they don't play him there, because he played center back when I was seeing him at Weston as a kid. He played center back mostly. He played a little bit of midfield, he played a little right, but he was mostly center back. My expectations are for him should at this point be a starting player. And he's not. That's why I give him a C+. Potential to be an A at the end of the season, but right now, to me, Xavier's going to get flamed.
Can I just agree with that and say if it wasn't for the injuries, I think he would be on the U.S. men's national team right now.
I agree with
he has
you.
that potential.
I
and
agree
so
with you.
docking him because
wasn't he
going to
join the Jamaican team?
They
I hope he does.
invited him. They invited him, and we'll see.
Oh, okay.
You were saying, Scotty?
I just
Are you getting
if you're
expectations
hitting if your expectations
Bold.
are this is like a national team type player, I think it's fair to say he hasn't met that this year, but also it's a huge compliment to say that's what he could and should be. So I think C+ is fine.
Yeah, Upcode series there was asking, are you grading against expectation or absolute performance? I'm grading performance based on my expectations. And
I just want to
Looking
mention
like a
one
true
thing.
educator.
I just want to mention something that Scotty said, and I want to mention Yedlin and Shaq Moore were both playing the right back position for the national team recently.
yeah.
So, like, you're on point there, Scotty.
And if you look at the
course.
center backs on the Gold Cup roster, like he could be there.
Scotty, I think Scotty and me are twins.
Toto Aviles.
Toto.
I'm going to go with Toto with a B.
Okay.
Because he's improved in terms of this discipline. He hasn't gotten many cards, not too many fouls, not too many opportunities either. But when he plays, he's served pretty well. He's been played at CDM sometimes, which is kind of weird.
I thought he's looked decent at CDM also.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a B with babyface Toto Aviles.
Well, you and I are in sync with this one also because I also thought B. I thought that when he's been playing CDM, even though that's not where I want to see him, I want to see him at center back. I thought he's been doing a good job progressing the ball. One of the what goal was it against Philadelphia? It was against somebody that he was the one that brought the ball up.
Yeah, it's Philadelphia.
He brought the ball up to the final third, and then he could distribute it to, I think it was maybe Messi, and got that goal started. I think he's done very well. And the most important thing is that he's cut down on those silly fouls when he has been out there. So I'm going to go solid B for Toto. Scotty.
12 games without a yellow card. I think maybe he just deserves a round of applause, but I'm going to give him an incomplete because I think he's going to get a real run this season. I think he has that talent, and I think Mascherano is going to be forced to put him there. And since we haven't really seen that yet, it's hard for me to grade his 17 minutes off the bench. So I think he might be our best center back. I think he should be a starter next Saturday in the Club World Cup if he's healthy. But I think it's probably too early to tell. I think he's got way more than half his season left in terms of how many minutes.
And I just want to throw out there because you just said that he might be the best center back we have. I know everybody was killing me because I said I was going to die on the Redondo hill. Just to be clear, I said I was going to die on the Toto Aviles and Redondo hill. So at this point, I feel like I'm kind of 50-50. So
You're
just for everybody
trying
else
to find the lifeboat, a life jacket.
I said
Redondo,
incomplete,
absolutely.
not an A.
I know. Xavier.
I'm going to give him a B-. I definitely agree and believe that he's much better player. I believe he should be the starter on this team, and that's why I'm giving him a B-. Unless, like, Mascherano is just sabotaging himself, I don't see how he has not clearly won the starting spot. He's a much better player than last year. His understanding of the game, the decision-making has improved. How he's been relegated to bench, I don't know. It might not be on him, but based on his potential and his big payment that Inter Miami did, paid for him, how you say he's better than Fray? I don't think he's better than Fray. I actually think Fray is the more complete player because Toto, they played him in midfield, and I don't think Toto's anywhere near as Fray in midfield. I think Fray is a more technical player, but he's a little more aggressive and stronger on the defense. But if I have to pick, I will pick Fray. But I think he's a very, very solid center back, the best one on the team right now because we'll consider Fray a right back because they don't even play him at center back.
Exactly.
David Martinez, we're not going to do just because he's barely played and he's probably going to leave the team in a couple weeks. So
disappointing, man. Yeah. I expected him to blow up this year.
He's good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Cello.
Oh, this one's gonna be the chat is gonna be on. I mean, come on, guys. What's your comments, chat, guys?
I'm giving Cello a solid B.
You and Calypso are buddies with each other.
No, Calypso gave him an A. That was kind of wild. But I am going to give him a B. I think that he gets way too much hate. I think that He progresses the ball well. He gets lost on defense, I guess, occasionally, but I don't think that he is as bad as people say. Is very inconsistent. That I'll give you, because he does have a game here or there where he is poor, but he'll make it up with having good games in between. So maybe I should go less than a B, but just because I hate everybody that hates on me for liking him, I'm just gonna go B anyway. Scotty, I know you hate Chelo. So
Yeah, I want to hear Scotty, especially when he puts his finger like this. You can tell he's been thinking. So what's going on, Scotty?
No, I feel the exact same way about Cello as I do about Federico Redondo. So I'm going to give him a B minus. My expectations are not high with Cello, and he's been fine. So I would say he's done fine, but that you definitely shouldn't sign him on a long-term deal when his loan ends.
Is it fair to say that I think that he is a solid MLS right back?
I think if you said he was the 15th to 20th best right back in the league, you would be absolutely spot on, which is an average MLS right back. Yeah.
Xavier.
C for Cello.
C for Cello.
I think he's done a satisfactory job. He hasn't been terrible. He hasn't been great. He's been pretty solid. He's been there. He did some nice crosses into the box, some good defensive tackles, sometimes some silly mistakes. He's been average. You get a guy that was brought in who was a bench player in Boca, comes here and basically has handed the starting spot. The first game he got off the plane, played the next day, and was fantastic. And I thought he was going to be the great Cello, but no, he's shown he's average right now, but he has not been bad. That C for me could improve during the season.
He's getting a D from me, Danny.
Ooh.
And you know what the funny thing is?
D.
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing for me is I feel like I've seen him play more, and I looked at his stats. He has 8 appearances, 6 starts, and only 490 minutes in the regular season. I feel like I've seen him more, but I think it's because he played a lot more in the season. Exactly. So listen, he gets a D from me. This guy, get him out of here in a handbasket.
All right. Well, let's start with you on the next one because I'm curious.
Okay. All right. This is perfect. It's a good thing that you brought me first, because if I tell you guys that Luhan has the top 5 minutes on this team, you guys wouldn't believe me, right?
Yes, we would.
No, yeah, he's been starting a lot. I would
He
believe
plays
that.
center back and right back, and then they don't take him out.
I want you guys to understand something. Aside from Ustadi, he is top 5 in minutes on this team, and he has 12 games started out of 14. Look at Scotty. I mean, this guy, you know what? Give him a F minus. Is there an F minus?
No, I didn't do the minus.
I don't think Scotty's going to give him an F, is he? I want to hear once he gets.
I don't know.
I mean, the way that you're reacting,
dialogue.
You gave him an F. You gave him an F. I'm not going to give him definitely not an F. But
all right, so Xavier, what are you giving Xavier?
No, I think he's been.
Oh, he's going to give him like a B plus. This guy.
No, not a B plus, but I think he's done pretty solid job. I think he's done a pretty solid job when they put him at center back. I think he had a good game against Philadelphia. He's done a decent job at right back. There was a game where he started at center back, moved him to right, and which I believe was.
I think that's why he gets so much playing time, is because he can be.
But he's not terrible. He's just a little bit better than average. We expect, for them, they brought all these guys in. We expected them to be much better players. But I'm going to give him a C plus, and it's trending upward. I don't see him with those crazy eyes that everybody does, that he's terrible. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's limited. But I think in what he does it well. And he plays his role, and he's consistent, and he's reliable. So I'm going to give him a C+.
Before I go to Scotty, because I really want to hear what Scotty has to say, I'm going to go C-.
Okay.
I'm going to go C-. I think that I thought that the best I've seen him is at right back. That LAFC game that he started at right back, he got cooked the first couple minutes of the game, but then he shut Bouanga down the last 90 minutes of the game. And then at center back, I think he's looked very poor. I think he's the reason that we gave up 2 goals to Philadelphia. But there have been moments where I thought he looks okay. And for everybody that said that, we won and we only allowed 1 goal against, Columbus because he wasn't playing, I think that's silly. I think that if he would have played, he would have looked okay because I felt like we were just playing a low block, and I think everybody would look decent there. So I'm gonna go C minus.
Hold on, man. Do you guys know that C's get degrees? You guys are passing this guy.
He's passing. He's
Don't
passing.
worry, Chris.
He's
Don't
done his
worry,
job.
Oh my
Here we
God,
go.
Scotty, can you please speak
Yeah,
some
I got you.
peace into
I got
this,
you.
please? These guys are monsters.
Guys, I watch every single Inter Miami game twice. And the first time I watch as a fan, I follow the ball, I watch Messi, all that good stuff. But the second time, I really get a chance to watch the defenders and the midfield play and the off-ball movement and stuff. This is the worst player Inter Miami signed in years.
Years.
He is the worst player on this Inter Miami roster, with the potential exception of Tyler Hall and Iziro Boatwright, who I can't make an assessment of. He's worse than Santi Morales. He's worse than Ryan Saylor. He's
Wow.
worse than Ryan Saylor. You were just talking about some of the strengths that he has, and this is going to be one of those moments where twins fight and brothers fight, because I don't know what his strength is. He's not physical. He's not
fast.
athletic. He doesn't work hard. He's not fast. He's very slow. He gets turned very easily. Every pacey player he's gone up against has turned him off ball at least 4, 5, or 6 times in a 90-minute period. This is the worst player on this roster, no doubt in my mind. The fact that he started all of these games in a row blows my mind. Xavier, I want to know what you see in him, because
I see what
this is a
Maxi-
disaster of a signing. And let me add that I think he's going to get the Emerson treatment the second Javier Mascherano leaves as manager, where he's going to be sent on loan, because he's making 10 times what Noah Allen is making, who
This
is
guy?
10 times the player. This is
Yeah.
the worst signing Inter Miami's made probably since
But that's
who was
Coco
the
Jean.
French winger with Coco Jean.
that's Noah Allen's agent's fault right there, man. Because I already would have had some money in that man's pockets.
You guys are giving him C's, man. That's
F, by the way, F.
diabolical.
But I already forgot.
minus.
I gave him a C plus, right, or a C
Yes,
minus?
I gave him a C minus. You give him a C plus.
Okay, no,
hold on.
wait,
Before we go.
I'm gonna bend to the pressure a little bit. I'll give him a C minus.
Xavier,
I'll switch
what
that.
is
I don't think
his
he's as
strength?
terrible. I don't think he's as terrible. Every game that
What
he's
does
played,
he do?
I don't
What
think-
is he good at? That's what I want to know.
Go back to the Philly game, the Philadelphia
You know
game.
what?
I think that was one of his better games there. And he
Yeah,
was
no,
covering your guy
No,
Falcone's back.
the Philly game, I thought that
back
he
and
was
forth.
poor.
You know what he did
and
in
then
the Philly
the game against LAFC.
He had a lot of clearances in moments where Noah Allen would have stolen the ball and taken possession, and he just kicked it 15 yards.
Yeah, 'cause
into
his
the
buddy
front row.
was
and that was the best game he's
Falcone.
had all year.
His
That
buddy
was his
no, his best game
performance.
was against LA where he shut down Boanga.
Yes, at
No.
right back.
No,
At
this
right
is the
back. That was his
biggest.
best game.
I watched this game twice. He gets turned by Boanga 15 times in that game, and I swear to God, if you go back and watch it,
He
you
just
will
missed
see
the goals then.
he had like 2 XG of missed chances.
I'm
in that
gonna
game.
go back and watch the game
Go ahead.
again, and I'm gonna analyze him. But I don't think
ahead.
he's been terrible. I don't think he's the worst defender we have, and he's versatile.
I think
What
I think he's
expectations did you
below
have from this
average.
guy?
Well, yeah.
And we need to start grading the scouts and the people that bring these players in too. Then
Can I just ask you guys a question though? Because
Go ahead,
whatever
buddy.
you
Go
think
for
of Luhan and whatever you think of Maxi Falcone, neither is like tall or physical, and also neither's a burner, right?
they're
Whatever
not
you
for
think
this
of
league. They're not for this league.
And so, does that make you nervous about the sort of brain trust that's going out and recruiting players, that they thought these were the 2 center backs that were going to solve our defensive issues from last year?
It gives me the thought that we've turned like into South America, where it's interest of the guys that are there. It's an interest of like a money moving back and forth, connections, and these things happening instead of actually going out and looking for the best player available.
Next up, Danny.
No, we got 2 names left.
Fun talk.
Ufstadi. I'll start. Ufstadi, I thought that he won even though Drake was injured, I thought he rightfully won the starting position to start in the preseason. I thought he looked decent. But as the season's progressed, I thought that he has fallen off a bit. He has aged drastically right in front of our eyes, I thought. And because of that, I'm going to just give him a C. I think he has a C. I thought that he started strong, and then he just fell off, made some boneheaded errors here and there. I think he's been caught out of position, and he just can't just react to shots to the far post quickly enough. But he's had his good moments also. So I'm just gonna give him a C. Chris,
I'm gonna give him a C, just like Sean is saying, C- and declining. I have a C- down for him. I actually have Drake with a C and Rocco with a D, but that's neither here nor there because you didn't have the pictures for Drake or Rocco. But yes, I'm gonna give him a C-. He's falling off big time.
Xavier.
And this is true.
I'm torn with this one. I'm torn. Why is it 3-0?
I do have them. I thought they were pointless.
Oh, no, but we should talk about them. I'm a little torn with this one. I don't think he's done a terrible job. I think he's came in and he saved basically the season because they brought him in to be the backup, and then we get this whole Drake scenario and this drama going on. So he's helping save the season. So I don't think he's been terrible. I'm going to give him a B-, just for the fact that he came in and he's kept the ship afloat. This guy, he's on his last
leg,
his last hurrah. Yeah, I mean, he cramps up at goalie. He's just standing there. He gets cramps. But here we are. When the story tries to get to the far post, it's like a dead body thrown in a corner. Yeah, but he saved the season for me, so I have to give him the B-, because I know you guys and your whole Rocco stuff. No. Rocco won't be able to do what this guy's doing, and he's got Inter Miami there. He's got him in the fight, and let's see what happens in the
Club World Cup. Scotty.
I think that just like with Cello and Redondo, they often get compared to a guy that they're sort of competing with, but they have gotten the benefit of the doubt a lot. And so I think based on sort of the last month of Ustari, we're starting to get there again with the goalkeeping position. But I don't think that means Ustari's been terrible. I would give him a B-, just like I gave those two, because I think he's a solid league average goalkeeper. I thought his skill set isn't great with our style of play, but maybe we're starting to get back to something that is a little bit higher up the field, a little more aggressive, and I do think his sweeping can really help there. So I'm going to give him a B- because he's been solid.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Like I said, I did have Rocco and Drake here, but they barely played. So.
Put it for the fans. They want Rocco. Everybody wants to see what Rocco gets.
Well, this is what they want. They want Rocco and they want this.
They want the goal.
This is what they want.
But you need to put a dark goal. You guys need to put a dark goal too.
Rocco, okay, real quick, 10 words or less. Rocco would you want him as the backup keeper? Me, in a word, no. Scotty.
Third string.
Xavier.
Why do we always get short people? We got short center backs. Now we got a short goalie. What are we doing?
So would you want him as a backup?
Backup to the backup.
Okay, that's fair. Third, and then Chris.
IMCF2 goalie, Sean Callahan saying.
He is the IMCF2 goalie.
Listen, Mike V is speaking fire facts here. Rocco stopped a bunch of PKs when we played against that.
The preseason friendly?
On Twitter, it's like that guy on Twitter. Like they kicked it right at his face. He stopped it by mistake.
Yes.
All right. The last one. And I'll start with Xavier for this last one.
Oh. You started with me because you know that I am at a Mascherano apologetics, right? Like I'm holding the people back before they want to burn his house down. It's like they're going after Frankenstein, right? They want to get rid of the poor monster. From A to F, first time expectations, doesn't have a lot of experience. Right now to this point, I'll give him a C+. And I think it's trending upward. Okay. I like some adjustments that he made against Columbus. I think he's changing a little bit. Let's see. If he had anything to do with bringing the players, then his grade would be lower, but I don't think he did. And I don't think he has anything to do. We never even talked. We haven't talked anything about players coming in, but another 0. Go do summer school. We'll probably have to repeat the grade. He's learning. Look. He just got into kindergarten. He was in daycare. Now he's getting away from the family. He's coming to a different environment, and he's learning. I think he's done so far so good for for everything that he has to encounter. It's not easy to come in and your first job, big job, is to have the GOAT, to have Busi, to have Alba, to have Suarez, and then to have the world's eyes and expectations, huge expectations on top of you. I think that has some sort of merit. C+, and I don't want him fired until the end of the season.
No, yeah.
I would have fired him already. So F for fire.
Scotty, did you notice how Scotty
That's the first F.
Scotty started slow and gradually dark and mean. Scotty started coming out.
No, this is a guy that is young, and I appreciate that. But he understood the responsibility he was taking on when he took this job, and so he has to be graded by the same scale that Tata Martino was graded on, and by that scale, he's done really, really poorly. And I have long-term concerns about his ability to be an Inter Miami coach. So I would have fired him already.
I was gonna say the same thing, because the thing is, Xavier, he came into these offices like this is the second time we had a look at him, right? The first time was like when this team was an infant, and now he came into the offices to interview. He saw the squad that we had, and Mas is like, "Are you ready for this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm ready for this." So you know what comes with that. You got to be ready for it. They're all your boys. Like, what the hell? F for me. Get them out of here. Danny.
What place are they in right now?
Third.
They're like in
the Eastern Conference.
How far did they get in Champions Cup? Well, we expected them to win CONCACAF, right?
we expected them to win that, and they didn't.
They got whooped.
They got
Xavier.
whooped, and the guys that whooped us got whooped.
The thing
Xavier.
with Mascherano, go ahead, Scotty.
Me and
Before
Scotty
this
wants to say
past
something.
game, before this last game against Columbus, they weren't on pace to qualify for next year's CONCACAF Champions Cup. And I think if you're talking about a Lionel Messi team, that is like an unbelievable failure. So great week. I give more credit to Messi than Mascherano, but it's been
Have some of the
below
reinforcements they
expectations.
brought in been disappointing, less than expected? Like we're
No.
talking about the center backs.
No.
We're talking about the
That's why
center
he-
backs they brought in. Those guys have
But that's
have
why
they
he
really
gets
been
an
an
F.
improvement?
No,
Frere
that's why he
was
gets
much
an F,
better than-
because if he
than
has
these
the
two guys
option
that
to
left,
start
that they
Toto
brought in.
Aviles, he has the option to move Ian Fray to center back. He has the
I agree.
option to play Segovia in the Central League, Cremaschi in like everything that we say has been going wrong has been because he's chosen for it to go that way, because he has the option. He is literally the person that puts these people in those positions.
He wears the hat. No, I agree. He wears the hat.
And then everybody and a couple of people are like, okay, he's done a little better after the Columbus game. I'm so sick of hearing about that stupid Columbus game. They
Thank
do
you.
the same goddamn
it's
thing
a long
every single
season.
time to play against Columbus, and it works every single time.
Not like that 5-1, but
Yeah,
it was
not
more
like that
of
5-1, that's
somebody
fine, but-
that it was a little bit of a mistake, because they had to put Segovia forward, and they put Ben Krem at where he should be, and he shined. So some of it, might have just been he ran into a little luck.
What
Could
I
be-
will say is that he has started changing a little bit over the last month, playing a little wider, maybe forced by injury. He's finding playing Segovia centrally. Maybe he decides to stick that way. Maybe he gets better. But up until this point, I have to agree. I got to say F.
There's
I feel
13.
like
How many games have they played so far? 16. Right? So
16.
they're about halfway
Yeah,
to the
one away
season.
from
He's got
halfway,
them
yeah.
on third place. And I don't, I'm
that's
sticking
the
with,
amazing part.
I'm sticking with
That's
my
how
C+.
good this roster is that they are in third place despite of him.
Xavier, why do you think that he wasn't involved in bringing Luhan and Maxi Falcone? Because his entire play style from game one until the
He's a
Vancouver series,
defensive guy. They should have never
was-
brought him in if they want to play that high, that tagging. What Mas has always said, this team's always going to go forward. They should have never brought him in, because this is his profile. He's a defensive player. He's a defensive coach. That's what he's done, and he's destroyed teams somewhere else. I'm still sticking with a C+. I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm going to wait for the end of the season. I'm either going to burn.
We need to do a regrade.
Yes,
Well,
I'm either going to burn, or at the end of the season, Mash is going to, make me look a little better than he does right now.
This might sound very hypocritical, but although I gave him an F, I wouldn't fire him right now.
Oh, look at
Unless-
Coach Sirius
unless
is
I
coming
have-
at me hard.
Unless
Yeah,
I know
he's been coming at me
somebody
the
is-
whole chat. Yeah, his expectations. Yes, the expectations for him, and we're grading him, are not that great. Now the team has high expectations. I agree with you. But we expected all these guys they brought in. I expected this roster, and we've all said it's a deeper, stronger roster. And as it's played out so far, it hasn't really shown that. So I'm not so sure if it's deeper or better. I mean, we expected Segovia, and I still expect him to do really good things for this team to be better than Matias Rojas, right? I expected him because he's more of a two-way player because Matias is an attacker, and he didn't defend crap.
Yeah.
Very little, right? He defended very little, but he was very good with the ball, and he was very good with Messi. I expect Segovia to be better. He has been average, and like everybody's been average. Redondo's been below average, and all these guys they brought in have not been better than the guys that left.
Well, Masha gets an F. That's it.
Yeah,
Punto y
I mean,
aparte.
I'm not justifying anything. I'm sticking with my grade. I might be crazy. We'll see what the season proves out, how it plays out.
Danny, you just in case before we end the show, you missed
We're missing that,
Obando. I gave him a D, by the way.
He doesn't get any playing time.
Well, he got on and then he did nothing. Well, he scored 1 goal, I think.
Guys, can I just say thank you for inviting me on? Because I
Yes,
love talking about
absolutely.
Inter Miami. But more than that, nothing right now I enjoy more than 3 minutes of complaining about Gonzalo Luhan. I find it so cathartic, and you guys gave me the opportunity. So I really appreciate that as much as anything, really.
Well, Scotty, thank you for joining us. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, guys, you can find me and my co-host Store on the Dry Pink Dialogue. I know you guys do some great things. So the one thing I always like to pump is the pregame show every game 1 hour before kickoff on our YouTube channel. It doesn't interfere with anyone else's. So it's a great opportunity to come and get sort of into the spirit of the game. I think we do a good job. And Danny's been on it before, and I'm sure the other guys will at some point. So check it out, Dry Pink Dialogue.
Absolutely. I always check out your stuff when I have the chance because you guys are awesome. What did I just do here?
Xavier, let everybody know where they can find your articles and all your good stuff.
Lemon City Live. Go to Lemon City Live for you get all my Inter Miami content. But not just that, we have a lot of good local writers. Every sport, every local sport, Marlins, Heat, the Panthers, the Dolphins, everybody, you can get it. And right now it's free, so you can't be that. And then you can follow me at XG Lavos. You can write to me, tell me, I'm terrible takes. I love to have discussion, respectful discussions. Yeah, so I like to hear what everybody has to say.
And La Voz is with us every Monday night in Las Garzas, talking Herons en español. So
The best, el mejor programa en español de Inter Miami.
absolutely.
And
Chris.
look, there's another crazy person in the chat there. Sandra El Campanazo says, I'm with you, Xavier. Mash gets a C. Final words, Danny. I can't believe that you don't know the song Step by Step by New Kids on the Block. That's a disgrace.
I know the show Step by Step.
I mean, yeah, there's a show, but there's also a song. So, it's disgraceful. But this was fun. I love doing the mid-year grades. And if we do one at the end of the year, it's going to be a blast.
Absolutely. If you guys have nothing else to do and you're not watching that Argentina game, we're going to be back on.
How is it? You made me miss half the game. What's going on in that game?
I don't know. I wasn't
Messi
watching.
scored already?
Probably.
Look
Messi
what
didn't start,
Upcode series has been knocking me the whole chat. He gave me an A because against expectations.
Argentina is up 1-0 right now.
Julian Alvarez, aka Matt Sofo.
Oh man, he's been fantastic. We need a Julian Alvarez.
Yeah. All right. And I guess I was gonna say battered MLS fans in about 2 minutes. We're gonna go live to talk mid-year review of just the season in general. So join us for that, battered MLS fans. If you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please subscribe, share, tell your friends. And as always, for those of you in the chat, appreciate you guys giving us your grades, your takes, and then beating up Xavier for his Mascherano take. And we'll be back next week. We have an interesting show coming up next week. Chris has been working on some stuff, so we have an interesting show coming up next week. And yeah, join us for Battered MLS fans in a couple minutes. So until the next one, have a good one.
Adios.